And God said, "Let there be
The
light."
Lord says, "Let my people go."
I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
This is the Talkin' Bible podcast.
Hey folks, welcome back to today's episode of Talkin' Bible. And today we're continuing talking about finding peace in the midst of tumultuous circumstances of life. And we're going to go back to one of the Psalms of David, Psalm 55. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's a little bit long, but I'll read a few verses. But a bit of context before we go there. This appears to be one of David's Psalms of Lament, and it seems to have been written at a time when one of his dear friends, someone who was close to him, had betrayed him. He felt betrayed by someone close to him, and some scholars think it might have been when his son Absalom usurped the throne. It might have been his nephew and his chief of his army, Joab, when Joab was regularly going against his will and issuing orders behind his back that weren't good orders. He was responsible for killing a couple of other righteous men, more righteous than he was, and David and Joab had a bit of a complex relationship. But regardless of what that is, David is writing and crying out to God about a time when he feels like those around him are more powerful than him. Those around him have had more strength. It's honest lament. He names the fear. He names the betrayal. It's raw emotion before God. But it ends with casting his burden onto God. It's like David, as he writes this psalm, he's mentally processing and praying through and gets to that point where he pours out his emotion to God and ultimately comes to that place of peace. And I think that is a pattern that we can do. Sometimes we think, especially Pentecostals have been taught to think that there's no room for lament. There's no room for pouring out a heart to God. I know I was taught that, really. I don't know if I was taught it or whether I was just, I falsely believed it. But I was kind of thought, well, if I'm negative, if I'm pouring out my real emotion, if I really let on how I'm feeling right now, then somehow I'm not operating in faith. And yet the Psalms, time and again, show us that's not the case. In fact, the way to get to faith is often through lament. It's through pouring out the grief. It's through expressing the emotion. But what David does well is he goes to God with the emotion. What I often don't do is I don't go to God with it. I lash out at others or I dump it on others. And the pattern is to go to God. It's okay. God can handle those feelings and emotions. And hopefully as you pour out your heart and your grief and your disappointment and your genuine emotion, I mean, I probably won't read some of this, but David uses hyperbole because it's a psalm, it's a song, but he often says some things that about what he wants God to do for his enemies, against his enemies, that are not nice. It's not just, oh, Lord, forgive him, it's all okay. No, it's not that. It's like, Lord, grind them to the ground, but he's expressing the depth of his emotion, what he's feeling. It's not saying it's okay to feel that. He's just acknowledging how it feels so that he can then let God start to heal and work on him. And so it is okay to tell God how you feel. Lament is a biblical pattern. It can be used and should be used regularly. Where else have my notes? I just lost my position in my notes. And we need to learn to trust God regularly and hand it over to God often. And if we do that, when we have these things, God can come through for us. So let me read some words from Psalm 55. Listen to my prayer, O God. Do not ignore my cry for help. Please listen and answer me, for I'm overwhelmed by my troubles. My enemies shout at me, making loud and wicked threats. They bring trouble on me and angrily hunt me down. My heart pounds in my chest. The terror of death assaults me. Fear and trembling overwhelm me, and I cannot stop shaking. You just got to stop and think about that. I mean, this is a man who is in deep turmoil of heart when he is saying this. He is deeply troubled. And this is why I love these, is that we can see ourselves in this. And if you know this psalm, when you're going through a time like that and your heart is in your chest and you just can't see a way forward, or it seems like it's all messed up in your world, you can read this psalm. You can identify and go, okay, I'm on the same journey as King David here. What does David do? What can I learn from this? Verse 13, he actually says, verse 12, it is not an enemy who's taunting me. I could bear that. It's not my foes who so arrogantly insult me. I could have hidden from them. Instead, it is you, my equal, my companion and close friend. What good fellowship we once enjoyed as we walked together to the house of God. Verse 16, but I will call on the Lord and the Lord will rescue me. Morning, noon, and night, I cry out in distress, and the Lord hears my voice. He ransoms me and keeps me safe from the battle waged against me, though many still oppose me. God, who has ruled forever, will hear me and humble them. For my enemies refuse to change their ways. They do not fear God. Morning, noon, and night, he's crying out in distress. There is space for you to pour out your heart to God. The way through anxiety can be at times to pour out those fear and anxiety. But the difference between what David is doing here is it's pouring out to God and trusting God to fix it. That's different to ruminating over it as though you need to fix it yourself. David knew he couldn't fix this problem. He's giving the problem to God. He's expressing his emotion to God, and he'll get to that point where he's thankful, where he's able to focus on the goodness of God. He says, verse 22, this is after his processes. This is teaching point now for the rest of us. Hey, give your burdens to the Lord and he will take care of you. He will not permit the godly to slip and fall. But you, O God, will send the wicked down to the pit of destruction. Murderers and liars will die young, but I'm trusting you to save me. So this is a process you go through. Pour it out to God. Be honest. Let him move. Let him minister. Say, Lord, like we did in yesterday's episode, Lord, I want to believe. I'm struggling to believe right now. Help me overcome my unbelief. Pour out your heart, your disappointment to God, and let him heal, and let him solve the problem, and let him give you the gift of peace in the middle of it so that you can say, hey, I'm going to trust in God. One day he is going to put the enemies to shame. One day he'll right every wrong. One day he will protect me. I will not slip. I may slip, but I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to fall and not get back up again. I may fall, but I won't get back up again. A righteous person may fall 7 times, but they're going to get back up again. I'm going to trust God that he will one day put me back on my feet. That's faith. That's trust. And it comes from being honest with God. So don't hide your feelings. Pour them out to God, folks. All right. May that bless you, encourage you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.